So what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose a life that is always presenting you opportunities, or are you going to choose a life that is seeking to take something from you at every opportunity that it gets? So I just got off a call with one of my clients, and we were discussing this idea that it's not really you versus you. You would have heard this phrase before. It's you versus you, man. It's all about the person in the mirror, and you got to be better than that person. And in fact, while this is a fairly let's say motivational saying, it's not really shining the light on all the truth. It is you versus your own programming, and I just wanted to disseminate that particular phrase because I think it could be very resourceful for you, and I'm going to give you a technique, a tool that you can use to start moving in a better direction by brutally analyzing your own psychology. So, and this kind of conversation came up of the idea that you need to do a lot of unlearning until you can actually start learning the things that are going to be conducive to your health. So it's first important to acknowledge everything that has been programmed to us, the belief systems that run our paradigms, which are not conducive to our greatest vision. To just give you an example, this idea that masturbation is healthy for you and watching pornography is good for you. Absolute nonsense, absolute bullshit. It actually takes away your natural drives as a man to go out and talk to a woman, to let's say try entrepreneurial pursuits, to actually be more aggressive in let's say reaping financial benefits in your particular life. And you can extrapolate that to the large population of men who are sitting around jerking off, doing nothing, and complaining all the time that capitalism is a degenerate idea, and so on and so forth. So victimization kind of rhetoric. And we have to come to a place, and even what's interesting about that is even when you say or you challenge that narrative that pornography isn't good for you and it's going to take away a lot of your ambition, people will fight to defend that because they don't like you shining a light on their inadequacies, and they will they'll fight you at every single moment to protect that idea. It's this idea of the illusion of the matrix. Morpheus actually said a quote something along the lines of, and I'm just paraphrasing here, that the people are so dependent on the system, they're so dependent on their own programming that they will fight to defend it. They'll fight you in their own kind of victimization, that actually you actually can create a better life for yourself if you just stop bullshitting yourself and actually look in the places where your inadequacies are lying, and actually again shine the light on those places that you've been afraid to look, and actually unpacking some of that emotional baggage, and again actually looking yourself in the mirror with brutal honesty. And in a similar vein, just kind of going back to the premise of this video of undoing that program, I wanted to leave you with a little exercise that I think could be very conducive for you again moving forward in congruency with your greatest vision. So that is to set aside an evening of the week, and I want you to write down your belief systems about certain areas of your life. What is your kind of moral code behind the thoughts that you house every single day? And I want you to find out what you believe about a certain thing. Let's take pornography, for example, and kind of do a little history of where you actually found that idea, like who actually gave you that idea, or where you learned that idea, then that perhaps this stuff was good for you, and whether that person had your best interests at heart, or whether that source had your best interests at heart. And I want you to do this not only for this particular example here, but I want you to do it for everything. And I would look very carefully at the things that are perhaps not again in your best interests. So let's take something, for example, like rich people aren't successful, they don't work hard, they just born into wealth, and all rich people are just reaping some of the benefits of their, let's say, ancestral lineage. So let's take that one, for example. You might have heard that from your father or somebody else who is working class, and maybe you go to the root of that and actually analyze whether that belief system is good for you. If you are cynical of wealthy people, if you are cynical of people that are rich and wealthy and financially free, is that belief system good for you? I'm just thinking objectively. I don't care whether you believe that thing or not. Just analyze, is it helpful to believe that everybody who is rich was just lucky. Put it that way. And again, be brutally honest with yourself, because I would believe that that is not a good belief system to incorporate into your paradigm. Because if you believe that wealth is attained by luck, then all of your thoughts, all of the words you speak, all of the actions you do, all the habits you make, and the character you become will ultimately just be cynical of wealth creation, be cynical of the idea that you can't actually become financially free, because all that wealth is owned by people who are just lucky. And there's nothing you can do at it, that you're a nihilist. So even if it was true or not, you have to understand, and this is going into another topic here, but I think it's intrinsically related, so I'll kind of relay a little bit of information and insight on this part, is that reality creation is predicated on your belief systems. To such a point, and I'll give you 2 examples here, that you set the rules, essentially. So you set the rules for your own reality, and you have to forget everything you know about how things work in the world in order to start moving in a positive direction. And you've got nothing to gain or lose by adopting this philosophy I'm about to tell you. So just to give you an example, if you believe that you need to work hard in order to progress in life and get what you want, that is the reality that will be yours. So if you're, let's say, predominantly lazy person, and that's what you believe in, that reality, that those rules of reality that you set for yourself aren't going to work. However, if you believe, if you just relax, go with the flow, are generally kind to people, opportunities will show up for you to gain wealth and financial freedom, that will be your reality. So you pick it. You do this at a subconscious level. So you do this. And the exercise that I'm offering you before is an attempt to get to the root of this and then start undoing those things. Again, if you believe that wealth creation is predicated on luck, undo that. Because once you undo those hinges and you get out of that, just viewing the world through these lenses of just, accusatory, I'm not making a lot of sense here. If you're viewing the world through the lenses of just, again, cynicism, that's not going to help you. Even if it was true, it's not helpful at all. So you need to get out of this kind of pessimistic paradigm and move over to the optimistic. And again, your subconscious will recalibrate on those belief systems and move you towards a more fruitful end. And this has 100% been true in my life, because if you talked to me 5 years ago, I would have said I'm a pessimist, 100% a pessimist. And my rationality was, if you're a pessimist, you can never be disappointed. So say, for example, you're invited to a party. My initial thought was the party is going to be terrible, and all the negative connotations associated with going to that event. And unbeknownst to me, I was projecting that onto my reality, so those negative events would always happen. There was no sense of optimism for me. And because I was not sitting in the seat of optimism, I never saw it in my reality. So again, on a deep level, you paint the world, you create reality with the rules that you dictate. And it's always been that way. And going back to the exercise that I want you to do is, again, set aside an evening, start collecting the belief systems you have about the world that you don't want to believe. I mean, it might sound airy fairy that you're living in imagination land, but these ideas have roots deeper than you and I know. And once you can begin to start picking out the seeds and the trees that are weeds essentially in your garden, you can curate something better. You can curate more flowers, more beauty, more optimism, more success, more wealth, more happiness, more peace, more tranquility. All of these things are within the remit of your control. And anybody that tells you otherwise is again in that cynical paradigm of believing that the world is a degenerate place full of pain and misery. And again, if you're wearing those glasses, of course, that's all the things that you're going to see on a daily basis. So, gentlemen, I need you to unprogram yourselves so you can reprogram. And remember, if you're not programming yourself, again with the code that is going to be conducive to your greatest vision, somebody else is going to program you for that, and it's going to program for all the things that are in their favor, that would have you again buy into the system that everything is unfair. So the choice is ultimately yours. So what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose a life that is always presenting you opportunities, or are you going to choose a life that is seeking to take something from you at every opportunity that it gets? It's your decision. Gentlemen, if you enjoyed this small little lecture and rant, please feel free to subscribe to my channel for more, I choose to believe, very intelligent insights. Then I will bring you something else very, very soon. So take care.